Hi guys, I'm just gonna report from the comfort of my couch today. Trained a nice chase session this morning, run about an hour or so ago, and just want to give you guys a little bit of a update on some things on recovery wise and obviously duration wise of my surgery that happened about roughly just more than 1 year and 3 months ago, plus minus. And one thing that I can report majorly is that I can comfortably sleep on my side now at this moment. I find myself at most nights directly on my right side, where I actually do have a stabilizer at the bottom. So I've got one stabilizer on my right hand lower side of the bar, and then one on my upper side of the bar. So I do have my days. I'll be honest, I do have bad days as such when I do a movement my body doesn't like. So I am restricting movement at the moment in certain angles. I don't do deadlifts. I don't do like bent over row specifically as much. I don't do weighted squats on the squat rack as such. All those movements that places actually weight directly onto the bar or onto the back as such pushes movement onto the chest. And that hurts obviously. So it creates a little bit of friction between the stabilizer and actually the ribs, and it creates irritation there. So I eliminate most of those movements. I do have my days such as Friday where you just pick something up in the wrong way, or there's a little bit of a twist action or something, and I basically have pain in for about a day to 2 days straight. My bar did get swollen a couple of times before, especially around where the bars actually suture to the rib, and I usually just take a mild anti-inflammatory. Within a day or two, that usually clears up. Some days I do have a lot of pain, and the pain still originates in my back, basically where my spine is. So, as I explained to before in my previous videos, that actually the bars actually distribute the weight to your spine, and therefore you have a lot of pain. So, in some cases, for like the last week or so, I find myself sleeping on the bed without actually any pillows. So I have a straight spine, a straight neck. Where it's actually kind of ironic or funny because I couldn't do that actually for a couple of months, actually up until about a year. I couldn't lie with my head flat down, completely flat on a pillow, as the bars just had too much pressure forward. So I can do that comfortably now. But the funny thing is, it feels like it's a reverse. Previously, I could only sleep with an incline or a pillow under my head, and now I can only sleep with no pillow. So what I can say is your recovery does change. I mean, it's never exactly the same thing. Sleeping has gotten better. Like I said, I can sleep on my side. It's just different angles. So lying in a recliner is completely uncomfortable at the moment. So the incline of what the recliner has actually places a lot of pressure on the stabilizers, and therefore it actually kind of like pulls tight onto the ribs. So that does get uncomfortable. So I find myself not sitting for longer than about a half an hour in a recliner as such before it actually starts to hurt, and I sit up and then I alleviate the pressure. Training's been really, really well. The last while, I've been training very slow movements, very direct, and very straight movements. I'm bench pressing as well. I'm not going too heavy on the bench press. I think my maximum was about 60, maybe 70 kgs, 70 kilograms. Where before I did about 120. So I'm at half when it comes down to most things. But I'm happy. At the moment, I'm seeing definitely muscle definition. You can see my pecs are starting to develop again, especially from the shoulders. I've always had a very good shoulder and chest, pectoral and minor. And on both sides, they're actually growing nicely as well. There is a little bit of pressure from where the pectoralis actually comes down, and then there's an incision there. So that's basically where the bar is. So as the pec actually starts to develop, it's actually kind of basically where the muscles forming is exactly where the bar is. So that does get pretty painful, I won't lie about that. And then obviously here's my stabilizer. So the stabilizer in most cases actually is a problem to training back exercises and things like that, because it does get in the way. On my other side, I do have two incisions over here, one over here, and then one lower up here. Up here. So they do hurt. I'll be honest, they do hurt in most times. It's just the angles. I'm completely flat. So when I say I'm flat, in most instances when I do something, I do like a cable fly. I don't do any funny motions. I keep the exercise completely dead straight. The same with the bench press. Straight movements, up, down, nice and slow, controlled. 10 to 12 reps. medium weight. I can feel in most cases if I'm doing something like a chest press or even a bench press or even flies, I feel the pain literally, or actually the pressure in the stabilizer directly pushing the rear part of my back. So if this is the end of my back where this bars actually end, all the pressure is there and therefore it pushes into my spine. So I do feel that. I don't think there's anything else that I can really think that actually touches my mind other than those things. But recovery wise, I'm actually in a good place at the moment. I'm not as irritated as I was before when it comes down to recovery. I'm actually seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just looking forward to another 2 years, basically 1 year and 8 months, and I can have these bars removed and just start my life normally with it. So I've got a little bit of a good development as well up here on the midsection of my chest, and then leading up to the upper part of the chest, which I worked really hard on. And those things that help actually develop, that is a reverse bench press where you actually take the hands upside down and nice isolates nicely on the upper part. So that's helped the development quite a bit in terms of the appearance of the chest. What I will just say is when it comes down to the aesthetic look of the pectors, in the beginning, for some people, such as myself, you get an immediate correction. As I did train before, I had a lot of swelling, etc., and I still had muscles that were still there, especially directly after the surgery. Now, as my recovery went on, I lost all my muscle mass, therefore exposing the raw pectors, if I could say that, because basically I was only skin and bone, and therefore I could see the pectors completely because I lost all my muscle tissue. So there was nothing that was actually basically going over the pectors. And basically after about a year or so, the development of the chest started to form again, and then it left me with different moods, happy and irritated, because I would get development in the chest, but it would still look like I had pectors in a sense because of the underdeveloped side. So that took a lot of isolation, believe it or not, a lot of bench, a lot of push-ups and those type of things, natural weight, which is sometimes the best, especially after recovery. And I definitely got to a place now where I'm starting to feel a little bit more happy about the appearance. Breathing wise, I can definitely breathe a lot deeper, but I can definitely feel the bars still. So my lungs can't fully expand because I do feel the bars actually restricting my lung. I'm still getting like kind of like hiccup gasps randomly, where I would just like basically like a hiccup, just my lung just goes in contractions 2 to 3 or 4 times in a row, and I got that immediately after my surgery, and that's never gone away. So for some people, I spoke about this before. I spoke to some people in the Pictus group, and they actually had the exact same thing, or a lot of people did. And some people's went away. Mine just never went away. So I still have the same gasping hiccup type of thing. I don't think that would go away until I remove the bars, but I still have pain sometimes as well. But that does have my days. The weather doesn't affect me that much anymore as it used to. So when it rains and it's cold outside, it doesn't really bother me that much anymore, as long as you keep it warm. If you do get cold and you start to shiver, that hurts, because obviously the shivering on the stabilizer starts to really hurt a lot. So yeah. Anyway, guys, have a good day, and I hope you guys keep strong. If you've got any questions, please let me know. I'm going to try to actually get some videos up at some stage in the next week or so about training exercises that I do that actually help develop my chest, especially with pectus itself, being limited, and obviously take into consideration the injury and the isolations, and obviously there's maximum development you can have without actually injuring yourself. So I'll get to that within the next week or so, and then if you guys got any questions, please let me know. Cool.